Okay, so back a little more about the museum issues. So we when we renovated our museum, now it's the museum exhibition is called Kaustinen fiddle playing living heritage, and so we basically threw most of the instruments back to the storerooms, and now the middle space of the floor is completely empty. We have only we have in the walls we have those glass boxes, and they show the story, you could say, about of the Kaustinen heritage, or the Kaustinen fiddle playing. So that in every box there's something about the historical origins, some text and some objects, even a few instruments. But then there's something showing how this part of the tradition lives today. So there's, like in the first box, there's about the kantele tradition, which is also part of this. So there's the kantele of the great kantele player Greta Haapasalo from 19th century, who was like a rock star of her age. But then there's a photo showing the group that plays those kanteles today, and so in different boxes there are different themes, and when you go like from left to right, besides the themes changing, the stress changes from the past to the present, so that in the last box there's just a little photo showing earlier times, and all the rest is about how the tradition lives today. And then we we have a couple of instruments there that you can play instructed. There's a kantele and a harmonium, and there's these pads, and you push the pads, and then you follow the guidance, and you can play play the music. And then there will be because we are a bit slow in without having any special personnel, so we will have a big wall of screens there, and there we will show some videos like our UNESCO nomination video, but then there will be instructive videos also, so that you can follow one video and you can play a little learn to play a easy part of a little fiddle tune, even though you have never played a fiddle. So it will be like you play just the open strings, you don't use your left hand at all. But then in the end you play this easy tune with näppärit, which is the local music education invention. You play with those kids, they play the tune like the melody, and you play the open strings there, and it fits the tune. So we'll see how that works when we get that operative. And then also you can learn a piece of local dance. We have there's an instructive video and with real musicians and real dancers showing how it goes, and we have painted footsteps on the empty floor of the museum room, that where you like start when you start the dancing, and where you end up also in different phases of the dance. So that's how we have like tried to make the museum showing more the living heritage and not so much of like dead
No.
objects of earlier days.
And the
And
times or the lessons they give, they can be from 6 hours to 20 hours. It depends how much they have to give and what kind of project they are planning to do. There was one photographer and a writer, this traditional log builder, and then there is theatrical things and circus things and all these other kinds of things. But from the eel tradition, what you said, that you have all combined, the food and the tools and so on and so on. So that gave me the idea that we could have if we had something. Well, we have also eel, but something speciality of this region. So we could take this our own cook to the school to give some lessons how to prepare these traditional things. So it can be anything. And
anything, yes.
Yeah.
So my question there is, how do you find and select and engage the local artists? Do you have a problem finding them, engaging them, etc.? And what are the students, pupils, youngsters' view of this project? Are they happy? Do they find it interesting? Are they just tired? Or how do they think upon these heritage traditions and possibilities of learning them?
That's a question we don't know the answer yet.
No, of course, it's still quite new.
Yeah, and they have just finished the programs, so we are trying to gather the information. What I've heard from the people who were instructing there, one was this older man. He was really, of course, happy, and he said that it went well. And the students were very interested, but there was like these lower grade students from the first class to sixth. They showed a lot of interest and did many rings and so on. But the students from the upper classes, from the 7th to 9th grade, they are different. They have this age that they don't show their
all the hormones and other interests, etc.
Yeah, they don't show their interest. Even there would be a little that.
So exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good to try to find the young people, the young students, because there you can find their interest and then you can engage them, and then if you start in a higher age, then you have already lost them. So I think it's good to start in the lower grades, and even if it's not the actual craftsmanship that they tried when they were 6 or 7 years old, and what they are doing when they are 15 or 25, that doesn't matter, because they have tried the cultural heritage, and that's the most important thing.
But basically the idea is that during the festival we have 2 stages that we make the recordings. So we are doing them when the performing is going on the stage, and then we are just recording it in the same time. And and then of course we choose little more like traditional music stages. Not really that the music would be traditional folk music, because it can be basically I would say it's practitioners who perform there. So we don't choose the big stages where the professional folk musicians perform. We don't choose them, basically not at all, because well, they have their own recordings and their own music videos. Basically, they can produce those themselves. But we record practitioners in these two smaller stages. And so basically, we do the recording and then add the metadata to the date. We have this kind of digital database. So we add to the metadata at the same time when the recording is on. So we have two people there working in the same time and putting up like what's the name of the song and who's the performer and this kind of like most important things.
Mm.
And then of course according to and then we have maybe 6 to 7 interviews every summer, so not very much. Basically, those are these kind of master folk musicians that we are interviewing more deeply every summer. So, who will get the nomination to be a master folk musicians? So, usually we agree then the interviewing time with those separately. And those are a little bit longer, maybe 1 to 2 hours kind of discussions, and then we also ask them questions, so they don't only play. Then we can discuss about their musical history, and then there are quite a lot of competitions, again mostly practitioner level, that we record. And then every summer we have this kind of lectures about intangible cultural heritage or folk music or different kind of issues, so those we record as well, and usually also videotape. So we are collecting, I think it's average is 100 hours of audio every summer, and video amount of videos has usually been less. I think 20 hours of video or something like that.